I'm trying to find like an angle where there's not like that glare on my glasses, but I can't really find one. Hey everyone, I hope y'all are having a great day, and today I'll be reviewing The Dream Thieves by Maggie Stiefvater. The Dream Thieves is the second book in the Raven Cycle, in case you don't know, and if you don't know what the Raven Cycle is about, the series basically follows a family of psychics, except they're not completely family, like they're not blood related. They're a family in the sense that Full House is about a family, and everyone in the family is psychic except for our main character Blue, who serves more as like a battery or an amplifier, and she amplifies everyone else's psychic abilities. And there's also a group of teenage boys who go to a local prep school, and they're known as the Raven Boys, and eventually you'll see these two really different groups of people merge and like join forces, and they go on these crazy adventures. It involves magic and paranormal stuff, and in case you can't tell by now, I clearly don't know how to properly describe the series. All you have to know about it is that it's fantastic. I love the books. I really enjoyed The Raven Boys, but I thought The Dream Thieves was even better. The Dream Thieves really focuses on Ronan, whom I love so dearly. Oh, I love him so much. We get to learn a lot of Ronan's secrets, and the development of his character in this book is just extraordinary. The development of each character in this book really is actually pretty incredible. Each character is just so rich and real, so the fantastic character development combined with the really exciting plot made this book a 5-star book for me. I loved it so much. If you haven't read The Raven Boys yet, please do. It's great. And if you haven't read The Dream Thieves, I'm gonna ask you to leave because I'm about to go into spoilers. I don't want to spoil you, so please read the books, come back, we can discuss together once we're all caught up and we're all on the same page. Spoiler section starts 3, 2, okay, let's talk about this crazy book. Everything about this book was so unexpected for me. I loved every chapter, I loved every page, I loved every line. The plot was so good. I was completely engrossed throughout the entirety of the book. And because each character felt like a real person, I fell in love with each of them. And I didn't want to abandon them by putting the book down. Okay, so there's so much to talk about, so I'm just gonna go into like the highlights. First off, Ronan being a Grey Warren. Also, more importantly, Ronan being gay. I'm so ashamed of myself for like not seeing that coming. I feel like Maggie has dropped plenty of hints, but I just haven't been picking up on them. Like I can't even put into words how ashamed I am of, like, I'm gonna admit this and I feel terrible saying this, but like I didn't even think of that like as a possibility. Like it never even came into my mind, the possibility of Ronan being gay. And that's like really shameful of me. I know, I understand, I suck. But now I know. That shouldn't have been a plot twist for me, but it was. I'm glad I know now. The question is, do the other Raven Boys know? Like, I guess, like, Adam and Ronan, they got a lot closer, you know, in this book. Like, even in the beginning, Ronan, like, paying off part of Adam's, like, rent because he knew that the price of the academy was increasing by that much. There's, you know, that consideration, that thoughtfulness. Maybe that's just like a friendly thoughtfulness, or maybe that's like, dude, I really love this boy. God, I love Ronan so much. He was my favorite Raven Boy at the beginning of the book, and he's still my favorite Raven Boy. I think it's difficult because in this book, each Raven Boy was like super well developed, so I love all of them. But I still think Ronan's my favorite. Also, it's really hot, so I'm like really sweaty right now. Hopefully y'all can't see it, but I'm letting you know. I loved reading about Ronan learning how to take things from his dreams. I love the title of The Dream Thieves. I think it's absolutely perfect for this book. Speaking of Ronan's dreams, I'm curious as to who that orphan girl is. Like, what is her purpose? Why is she there? Does she like represent something? Is she gonna like be some kind of liaison later on in the series? Did I say liaison correctly? I don't know. I'm so happy that I guessed correctly that Kavinsky was a dream thief before it was revealed. God, it's weird saying Kavinsky because I just finished P.S. I Still Love You by Jenny Han, and you know, there's Peter Kavinsky. You might not know if you haven't read the book. I don't know why I'm saying you know. I'm just so presumptuous. But anyway, when Kavinsky gave Ronan like the tangle of leather bands that Ronan normally wears, I was like, whoa, maybe he's like trying to give Ronan a signal, like, yo, I'm also a dream thief. And when it was confirmed, I was just so proud of myself. Also, Kavinsky's character in general was one that I greatly underestimated. There's definitely a lot more to him than I gave him credit for, and although he's kind of terrible, I like him at the same time. I definitely have a fondness for him, and a big part of me just feels really, really bad for him. Like, he's so lonely, his terrible relationship with his parents, and like he's so eager to be friends with Ronan, maybe more than friends, you know? He's always teasing Ronan about like being in love with Ganzy. Turns out that's true. Maybe Kavinsky is jealous. Maybe he wants to be the Ganzy to Ronan. Like, he's so lonely that his right-hand man, his best friend, is just someone he conjured from his dream. Like, it's just an imaginary friend, practically. It's like he didn't have anybody, and that's so sad. And now he's dead. What's also sad is Adam. Poor Adam. I find him simultaneously irritating and heartbreaking. I find it easy to sympathize with him because he really doesn't have it easy. I wonder what it feels like if like I'd never experienced unconditional love before. In the novel, Blue has this thought that's like, what would it be like to never have a mother who completely loves you? Or something like that. And that definitely struck a chord with me because my mother is like my favorite person on the planet. And to just think about like never having experienced that kind of love or that kind of personal connection, that's just so depressing. Like, you're missing such a big part of like childhood and life in general if you don't have like some kind of parental figure who just loves you. And so that loneliness is just completely worsened when Blue is like, I'm not in love with you, you're not the one. Oh, that scene was just so tense and stressful. Oh, I wanted to like crumble into a pile of ashes. It was so painful. Speaking of painful, the car scene between Blue and Ganzy. Hands down, one of the best scenes in the book. When Ganzy and Blue are just driving along and then they stop and Ganzy says something about the way Blue looks in that light, and it's just, melts my heart. That whole scene was just so electric, but also so painful, so heartbreaking. The tension between them is just so potent. But of course they can't kiss, and of course they have to keep in mind Adam, like they don't want to hurt him, and just everything is a mess. Ganzy is interesting to me in the sense that I'm personally like not a big fan of him romantically. That's not to say I don't find him and Blue together like the best thing in the world, because I do. I think they're just perfect for each other, but like personally, if it were me, I wouldn't be that into Ganzy. I want Blue and Ganzy to work out, like of course, but I can't think of a way for it to happen like smoothly or without somebody getting hurt or without like getting rid of people, like, you know, whatever. But that car scene, so good. So good. I'm still not over it. Another huge highlight in this book for me was the scene where Noah and Blue are alone together at Monmouth and they experimentally kiss, and it's just so cute. That scene really made me fall in love with Noah. It was just so emotional and adorable and sad. That's like a common feature of this series, actually. It's wonderful, but heartbreaking at the same time. Like, it's like beautifully tragic. This book series is a beautiful tragic love affair. I want more Noah. Honestly, I feel like we don't get enough of him, and he's still such a big mystery, especially after this book. Like in the first book, Ronan was such a big mystery, but after the Dream Thieves, we got to know so much of him, and at this point, we know a lot of like the other three Raven boys, but we still don't know a lot about Noah, and he's a sweetie pie. Ooh, when I first read about the Gray Man, I hated him, thought he was like the obvious antagonist. He was a hitman. That's not okay. So when he went to 300 Foxway and he got a reading, and everyone was just like okay with having a hitman in their freaking house, I was like, what is going on? How is this rational? How is nobody freaking out? And how the heck does somebody think it's a good idea to go out on a date with a hitman? No. Mora and the Gray Man's romance was just this huge question mark labeled WTF in my head. I couldn't understand it. But God, Maggie Stiefvater is just so good at character development that she makes even a character that I initially hated, aka Gray Man, into someone that I actually liked by the end of the book. Even her new characters, like characters that are introduced like with each new installment, are completely complex. As I said before, by the end of the book, I liked the Gray Man, and that change in perspective was seriously one of the most surprising things I've ever felt. I love the way Adam and Ronan both like reconciled with Kavinsky and the ley line energy. It was comforting in a sense. Also, Ronan's mother has awakened and Ronan changed the will. That's crazy and cool. I don't really have any theories as to what kind of role Aurora's revitalization will play in the later books, but I'm excited. I hope it'll make Ronan a happier boy to have his mother back. I'm excited. I'm so excited for the rest of this series. The story just keeps getting bigger and bigger and more complex, more complicated, and more painful if we're being honest. I'm such a huge fan of this series now. Again, thanks to Jenny from Jellify for recommending this series to me, because I honestly don't think I would have picked this series up otherwise. Please let me know your thoughts on the Dream Thieves. Let me know who your favorite character is, Ronan, what your favorite scene was, the car scene, or maybe Noah and Blue's kiss. All that fun stuff. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and happy reading. Goodbye!